Well, hello everyone. We have another snow day here. It's the middle of March, but it's snowing, so we're gonna do what any reasonable human being would do. We're gonna make some baked beans. It's supposed to snow till, I don't know when. Tonight? Tomorrow? Tomorrow morning, I think. So, nobody's going anywhere today. We got the wood stove going and we're gonna make the baked beans. Here's what you need. 1 pound of dried beans. These beans come from a local farm in Nottingham, New Hampshire. If you ever get a chance to check them out, they're at all the local New Hampshire farmers markets called the Root Cellar. Some of my students grew them, so it's kind of a big deal. It's about 2 1/3 cups of dried beans in a pound, if you don't have a scale to weigh them out. The same family, the Comtes, also grew these onions. They are the best onions I've ever had. Got them at the farmer's market last week. It's March. So about 1 cup of onion. I'm just going to use 3 of these guys. I throw in some garlic, 3 heads of garlic. You're going to need a 1/2 cup of maple syrup. This is also from the Comte's farm, the Root Cellar, Nottingham, New Hampshire. All those, the onions, the beans, and the syrup, all organic. You're also going to need a 1/4 pound of bacon. This bacon was raised by some of my students. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of mustard. This is ground mustard. A 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar. And that's it. First thing we're going to do is measure our beans. 1 cup, 2 cups, 2 1/2 or so. 1 pound of baked beans. Now these beans, you can see I use a variety of different beans. Has its advantages and disadvantages. Number one, you get a little bit more of contrast in the color. Some of these will cook faster than others. They'll soften up a little faster. So some of them kind of get a little mushy, while some of them stay a little bit more intact. So then we're going to take our beans and we're going to put them in a colander and just rinse them with a little water. Now we're going to add our beans to 8 cups of water. Bring it to a boil. You're going to reduce the heat to simmer. Cook it for about 2 minutes. Just going to remove that from the heat. Put a cover on. Let it sit for 1 hour. So once that hour's up, you're going to dump out this liquid. Strain the beans out, and then refill it with another 8 cups of water. Bring it back to a boil, and then turn it down to simmer. Simmer it on low, covered for about 1 hour to 1 1/2 hours, or until the beans are tender. While we wait for that to heat up, let's just check in on the weather outside. Still coming down. Just gonna go out in the snowstorm and check on the chickens, so follow me. Chickens will be happy to see me. Their little snowed-in coop. Anybody there? So if any of you have chickens, you're used to this, right? We got the nesting boxes here, 2 of them, right? There are 4 chickens in and on that top nesting box. 2 of them in the box, 2 of them on the roost in front of it. It's like the coveted box. Everybody wants it. Then these ladies are just chill down here. Then you got Favorite. Favorite, how you doing today? How you doing today? Yeah, you good? You good? Yeah. How you like your snowstorm, huh? You liking the snowstorm? Yeah, it's pretty cool out there, huh? Pretty crazy. All right. We'll see you later. Have a good night. So the beans have been on here for about another hour. I'm gonna start to prep the other ingredients, cut up the onion and garlic and all that. This garlic is from our garden. Some of it's starting to sprout, but it's still plenty good, pretty solid still. We're going to take our garlic and just slice it into smaller pieces. And just put that in the crock. This comes from a local pottery place, Salmon Falls Stoneware. It's located in Dover. They have the little pottery shop right there. Cool patterns. A lot of people collect these in the area. It's classic New England stoneware, and it's perfect for baking this batch of beans. Next, we're going to cut up the onions. And we're just going to add the onion. Alright, so now when the beans are done, you want to save the liquid. Alright? You don't have to save all of it, but definitely save some of the beaniest liquid in there, the brownest stuff, because you're going to use that. You need a cup of it at least in the baked beans. You might need a little more if it gets a little too dry. So there they are. Some of them are softer than others, and now we're going to add them into the crock. It's going to be pretty full when it's all the ingredients are in there. You can see it's already pretty tight, but there's a lot of space in there that'll cook down, like the onions and the garlic take up quite a bit of room before they're cooked. I'm going to pour in about 1 cup of the liquid. We're going to set the rest of that bean liquid aside in case we need more later. Now you're going to take about a 1/4 pound of bacon. I'll probably do that much. As with any recipe, a little bacon goes a long way, so you don't need a ton. And we're just going to chop it up. It's pretty easy to do when it's frozen. So once you have your bacon cut up, you add that to the mix, stir it in, and we're going to add a 1/2 cup of this stuff. This is US grade A, robust taste, maple syrup. We're just going to add that in. Do not waste a single drop. Just going to leave that upside down. Make sure everything gets in there. So all we have left to add is 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground mustard, and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper. A little more won't hurt, so I'm just going to crank it away there. A fresh pepper. And the very last thing we're going to add, the recipe calls for about 1/4 cup of brown sugar, packed brown sugar. We'll do about that much of the 1/4 cup. It's pretty packed. We're going to set the oven to 300 degrees and bake it for 2.5 hours. It's cooking pretty good. You want to make sure you stir it every once in a while. Alright, so I just came in from shoveling snow blowing. Andrea helped. Thank you, Andrea. The beans are done. There they are. Homemade baked beans. These are the best beans in the world. You want some?